Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Leader Transition Institute's September 2021 Training and Coaches session. I'm Annie Brock, LTI's President and CEO. The Leader Transition Institute, LTI, is a Maryland based nonprofit, a registered 501c3. We prepare and walk beside people who are making pivots in their life, with a particular focus on military service members, veterans, and their spouses who are transitioning from active duty to the civilian sector. We help them get from where they are to where they want to be. And we hold these training sessions each month to stay connected with and continue to serve the alumni of our Changing Focus Moving from We to Me program. We live stream them to make them easily accessible and to reach and serve people who haven't yet been through Changing Focus. And just maybe that's you. Welcome. I have a couple of quick housekeeping notes. I, I, I have to say, this is really distracting. I've had a problem with StreamYard with getting an echo on my mic. So today I have AirPods in, and now I'm getting an echo in my ear. It's the most crazy thing. So I have a couple of quick housekeeping notes. Number one, if you have questions or comments, I welcome them. So please put them into the chat. I'll take a few seconds every once in a while to look at the chat to make sure I'm not missing anything. And if you feel led to share this session on social media, please use the hashtag zigzags and pivots. I'm going to put it in the chat, and that will help us find your posts more easily later. I can't, and I found I can't talk and type at the same time. So there is the hashtag. So today we're going to talk about bouncing back from a setback. And the very first thing I'm going to say about this is that if you're not having setbacks on a regular basis, even just small ones, you're not trying hard enough. And I know that probably hurts, but it's the truth. If you're not having setbacks regularly, you're not trying new things or changing up the way you do things enough. Because setbacks are a normal part of life. The challenge that I see with them is that we tend to let them stymie us. And that's why I wore this shirt today. This is the shirt we wore for the Army 10 miler a couple of years ago when we had our LTI team. And what I think when I talk to most people about setbacks is that they are comfortable with setbacks in an athletic setting. You know, when we lose a game, when we don't do it well at something sports wise that we say, oh, we'll do it again. It's okay, honey. We say that to our child. You did your best. Your team did great. But when we fail at something normal in our life, we let it eat at us. And that's crazy. We need to think about all setbacks in the same way that we think about them in an athletic or sports setting. And so that's why I have a sports shirt on today. So to bounce back from setbacks, I will say it's all about one thing, and that's thought management. Because our thoughts create our actions and our reactions. And let me explain that a little bit. For those of you who've been through changing focus, you might remember the stick figure that we use on the first night to talk about our conscious and our subconscious. When we are born, we don't have a conscious mind, our thinking mind. We're not capable of those thoughts right now. And so everything that we experience goes right into our mind, filling up until we're about 8, 10, 12 years old. And we really get the ability to reason. And then there's kind of a little door that goes across it, has a tiny little bit trap door that opens once in a while. And then we are able to reason. But the problem is that everything that we process to reason gets filtered through our subconscious. And so when if we think we can't do something, our subconscious tells us that. And so when we don't succeed at something, when we fail, our subconscious is liable to say, "I told you so. That was too big a goal. You don't know how to do that. You can't learn that. You're stupid." And we believe it because we don't know anything else. That's what's in our subconscious. And that's what rules our action. And so, if we don't think inside ourselves, in our subconscious, that we are capable of the things that we choose to try, then our subconscious won't let us try them. And that's how then that our thoughts create our actions and then our reactions. And so what we have to do is we have to learn to be intentional about what we feel and what we do. And when we take time to learn that and to build that into our subconscious, then setbacks become easier to deal with. So let's talk about the 5 things that I have, actually 6 things that I have for you today to talk about how to do this, okay? Because it's really helpful if you know how to do it. So I'm pulling up my notes farther so I can see them. And I have some things that I'm going to put in on the screen so that you can see exactly what I'm talking about. Okay, so the first thing that will help you to get past a setback is to take responsibility for the result. You tried it. Whatever happened or didn't happen is your responsibility. And just say, I did it. I tried, it didn't work. Or it worked part way, didn't work well enough. But it's important to be willing to take that responsibility for yourself. Okay. The second thing that I want you to do is I want you to talk yourself in a positive voice. I want you to notice what you say to yourself. For example, if you are baking a cake and when you take it out of the oven, it falls. Cakes do that sometimes. Sometimes they're a result of something that we've done, something it maybe the temperature of the oven. There are all kinds of things that cause cakes to fall. But if when you take the cake out of the oven and it falls and you just say, I don't know how to bake. This is a failure. I'm just a screw up. But most of all, I don't know how to bake. What is that? You know how to bake. You know how to follow the instructions to make a cake. So the important thing is to say, wow, that doesn't look the way I thought it would. Do you notice the difference in that? It takes it away from you. It makes it be on the cake. And maybe it was your fault. Probably it was your fault. But you're not internalizing that. You're talking about the action or the result and not talking about yourself. And I will tell you, when I bake a cake, it's amazing that they don't fall. My daughters like to remind me that baking is actually a chemistry problem. And I'm not careful enough usually about the ingredients. And the thing about chemistry is you have to be really careful with the ingredients, with the temperature, with the timing. So there are all kinds of reasons for a cake to fall when I make it. But if I take the time to make my negative comments about the situation instead of what I say to myself or about myself mostly, that turns it into an entirely different thing of what my subconscious is hearing. It's hearing a problem with the cake as opposed to a problem with me. So the third thing that I want you to look at after you've taken responsibility, you've talked to yourself in a positive manner, I want you to remember your previous successes, your previous wins. We've all had lots of wins in our lives. I've made lots of cakes that haven't fallen. And so we have to think about the things that have gone right in our life, those times when things don't go so well. Because very few of us are total screw ups. And I would venture to say the people that we could look at maybe and say, wow, you're a total screw up, that's because we're not looking at them in a very outward manner. And that there are lots of positive things about them that we don't see and maybe they don't see. But our previous successes need to be something that we remind ourselves on a regular basis. Something that I do regularly at myself is I laugh at myself. And that's step 4 in getting over a setback. You know, those mistakes that we made, sometimes they're really funny. I'll tell you a story. It happened years ago. My husband was deployed, he was in Kuwait. I had made spaghetti for my daughters and me for dinner. And that was back during a time when drank a lot of Diet Coke. I mean, a lot of Diet Coke. So I was drinking Diet Coke with dinner. And as I sat down to my plate at the table, I knocked my drink over into my plate of spaghetti. Well, there was no more spaghetti in the pot. And so I was trying to set a good example for my daughters. And what else could I do? I laughed at myself, drained the Diet Coke out of the spaghetti, put a little more butter and cheese on it because I'm not big on red tomato sauce, and I ate it. But we still laugh at that episode. So when you find that you've done something and it didn't out so well, try and find a way to laugh at the situation or laugh at yourself. Now, there are times when we are suffering from a setback and we really can't get forward with that goal. Uh, and then it's times to choose a substitute goal. I'll give you an example of that. And this is an athletic one, but it could go with any kind of a situation, this attitude. So I have a goal to finish a marathon, start and finish a marathon before I turn 65. And those of you know me well know that I have the rest of this year to do it. I set the goal last fall, so there was plenty of time, started my training, but I found that I wasn't as dedicated to my training as I needed to be. So, my original goal, I registered for a marathon on October 9th, but I knew back in August that there was no way I could do it. And so that goal for me, the October marathon, is blocked. There's no way I can run, walk, or crawl 26.2 miles in one day on October 9th. I knew that back in August. So what I did was I changed my registration to the half marathon. And I will be honest and say that my training's not going so well, but it's going well enough that I know that at the very least, I can walk 13.1 miles on October 9th. So if you see that your original goal is a problem, find a way that you can turn it into something else. And I still have time to get that marathon done, but I haven't yet picked the one that I'm going to do in 2022. Looking for a nice flat road in the spring. So, the last part of getting back from bouncing back from a setback is to enjoy the journey. You know, life isn't just a set thing. We don't have a goal at the end of it. I mean, our goal is that we're going to die. Nobody lives forever. And so, what we need to do is just to enjoy our time that we're on this earth. And that means when we set a goal, when we have a target, to enjoy our trip to achieving. Because it's not about getting to the goal or the target, it's all about who we become on the way. So I'm going to check the comments and see if anybody has any questions or comments. If you do, I'd love to see them. I'll take just a second in here and look. Well, I want to say thank you for being on with me today. I'm looking forward to see you again next month. In the meantime, we have another session of changing focus, moving from we to me that you can register for. You can go to our website, and I'm going to put our events site up here, and you'll find changing focus there. You'll find our training and coaching calls. You'll find our veterans benefits Q&A. You'll find outward mindset. You'll find Think and Grow Rich. All of those things are at the events page of our website. If you have any questions, make sure you send me an email at admin@leadertransitioninstitute.org. And between now and the next time that I see you, I'm going to figure out how to make these AirPods work without an echo in my ear. Thanks so much for sharing a little bit of time with me today. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye.